Hey, Professor. I really want to thank you for this class because I have learned more about the ins and outs of what I should know as a future counselor. And you've corrected me when I have been wrong. So I really appreciate that because I really want to make sure that it's very important to me that I am doing a great job and that I'm learning and growing from what I'm supposed to be doing because I sometimes have a different point of view. And then whenever I went to learn some things, like for instance, learning about the code of ethics, it is different when you are have been counseled, but you haven't been understanding what it is to be a counselor. And so I was thinking about what I've learned with ethics. I've learned a lot about how to respect your client. And it gets kind of tricky whenever it comes to family and marriage counseling. It gets tricky when it comes to counseling a minor. But as long as we keep up with the code of ethics and ask our supervisor for assistance with things we're struggling with as soon as they happen, and also abiding by the laws, I really believe that we will have a well rounded way of how to maintain a professional relationship with our client. Um, and I liked in one of the videos that it had said, the person had said that it is really important to make sure you keep up with the state laws, especially if you are counseling someone in a different state, um, because things are going to be different in their state than they would be in the current state you are in. And there's different qualifications to make sure of that. But I really thought it was helpful and liked that we had different points of view, different materials to research, and reading other people's points of view really helped me to understand more of the depth of confidentiality. Like, it's not just you breaking that confidentiality if someone says that they want to harm themselves or others. It's also if they have mentioned minor abuse or elder neglect, um, and different and intricate parts of that. Like if they're planning on harming a minor and they tell you details of that, the client would have to understand that we'd have to disclose that. So I just thought that was really interesting to know more details about what I'm going to be doing. And then also my takeaway from the course and what was new to me was learning about the relationship themselves, like how people can have dual relationships when it comes to different types of therapy, and wanting to collaborate with the therapist, but with permission, because that's another confidentiality thing that we need to make sure of. But I just think it's really interesting to think back on these things. And a question I have is, in 2020, when they had so many people having to do telehealth because you couldn't go in person to see a therapist, were there therapists breaking rules and seeing people across state lines, um, just to get them help? um, just like new mothers, just people that were suicidal, people that absolutely needed therapy. Were they having to cross those boundaries or those lines? That was one thing that I've always kind of wondered, if these people were trained or if there was very little training because they didn't have a lot of time to prepare for that. So I just thought that was really interesting. And I wanted to thank you for making your class so interesting with all the different videos, all the different types of things that I've learned about in your class, like the gifts, um, getting a gift or bartering. I didn't realize those were things that people did, that they gave extravagant gifts that were probably unnecessary, or they bartered services like lawn care, for services, and that person may try harder when they're doing lawn care, may do more for you as a therapist than they would to try to impress that person instead of just a regular client. So thought it was interesting. And thank you so much again. I love your class.